So the next topic is public relations and integrated communication. So under that we have various types of research where various types of steps where the first one formative research. So during the first phase of the steps, the formative research we have discussed about the formative research which focuses on the preliminary work of communication planning, which is the need of, which is very much need to gather information and analyze the situation. So there are three steps. The planner draws an existing information available to the organization, and at the same time it creates a research program for gaining additional information needed to drive the decision, and that will come later in the planning process. So the under that we have various steps. So step number one, analyzing the situation. So your analysis of situation is very much crucial. So beginning to the process, it is imperative that all involved planners, claims, supervisors, and the key colleagues and the ultimate decision makers in the solid agreement about the nature of opportunities and obstacles to be the address in this program. And in the second stage, analyzing the organization. In these steps, it involves a careful aspects of organization, which, as I already discussed, we have three important steps. Under that we have internal environment, public, and we have external environment. Internal environment, as I already told, it may be of your mission, performance, resources, or when it comes to public, it may be of his public perception or the reputation. When it comes to the external environment, it will be based on your competitors, opponents, and supporters. Then also we discussed about the analyzing of public. So in these steps, you are going to identify and analyze your key public in the various group of people who interact with your organization on the issue at hand. So strategic planning for public relation provides an object technique for setting priorities among the various public. So helping you select those uh, most important on the particular issues being dealt with. So these steps include an analysis of each public in terms of their wants, needs, and expectations about the issues, and their relationship to the organization, and their involvement in communication and with the various media, and a variety of social, economical, political, cultural, technical trends that may affect the organization. The next one we have strategy. So the second phase of planning process strategy deals with the heart of planning, so making decision dealing with the expected impact of communication as well as the nature of communication itself. So this involves, as we already discussed about the various steps. So various steps, you can see here we have the various steps of public relation strategy that has been classified in the public relation planning. So here in the strategy we will be discussing about step number 4, 5, 6. So that is establishing goals and objective, formulating action and response strategy, and designing the effective communication. So here, when it comes to establishing the goals and objectives, it's mainly focuses on the ultimate position being sought out for the organization in order to advertise their products and services. So this steps helps you to develop a clear, specific, measurable objective that identify the organization's impact on awareness, acceptance, and action of each key public. And when it comes to step number 5, which is related to formulating action and response strategy, so a range of action is available to the organization, and in this step, we are going to consider what you might do in the various situation, and also what are the typologies of initiatives and responses we are undertaking. Then we also discuss about step number 6, that is designing effective communication. So this deals with the various decision about the message, such as the source who will present the message to the key public, and the content of the message, and the tone and style of the message, non-verbal, verbal cues, and related issues. All these things we'll be discussing about in the strategy. So the next main thing is tactics. So during the tactic phase, the various communication tools are considered and the visible elements of the communications are created. So here we'll be discussing of step number 7 and 8, that is selecting communication tactics and implementing the strategic plan. When it comes to selecting communication tactics, so this involves which deals with the various communication options, especially the planner considers four categories like face to face communication and opportunity for personal involvement, organizational media, news media, advertising and promotional media, etc. So when it comes to step number 8, implementing the strategy plan, so here we are going to develop the budget and schedule, and otherwise will prepare to implement the communication program. So this step turns as the integrated part of your previous step. And the next one we have evaluative research. So under this, we'll speak only about the ninth step, that is evaluating the strategic plan. So in the final phase, the evaluative research, which deals with the evaluation assessment, enable us to determine the degree to which the stated objective have been met, and thus you can modify or continue with the communication activities. So this is the final planning element where it indicates the specific method for measuring the effectiveness of each and every recommended tactics. So the next concept is brainstorming. So what do you mean by brainstorming? So brainstorming, we can say that it is also considered as a strong technique of creativity. The main basis here is to suspend bias and judgment for to allow free flow of thoughts in a group. So for a group of people, they are going to give a topic and they will get various ideas from that particular topic. This is known as brainstorming. So research has shown that once people are assured of judgments free discussion, and the outcome tend to be highly productive. So the term brainstorming, it was first used by Alex Osborne in his book Applied Imagination. So since then, many people have used and developed more input to the original content. So the technique of brainstorming is one of the suspending judgment while assembling ideas. So brainstorming is usually done by a small group of people, one of whom records the ideas on a flip chart, where while the rest be a simple blunt out anything that comes to the mind without consideration of how effective or practical it may seem. So as they call out one ridiculous notion after another, it becomes easier to be non-conventional, and occasionally an idea emerges that proves to be a jewel. And often it is in different form current practice as to seems, but a second thought it becomes obvious that it is an existing and practical alternative. So under we have process of brainstorming. Under process of brainstorming, the first thing we have to define the problem, or we have to define the situation at hand clearly, to the point that no matter should have second thoughts about the same. And the second one, we mainly decide about the decisions, the number of people, too small and too large, and do not help this stimulation and through process. An ideal number is usually 6 to 15 participants. The next one is we should have a moderator or facilitator who will ensure this process is undisturbed and continue till the job is done. And the next one, appoint one, we have to appoint one member of the group to write down or record all the ideas which has been generated in this brainstorming process. Then you have to announce the time frame within which the activity has to be conducted. After that, give a brief to the members about being open minded and not to judge their thoughts in their thinking and speak out freely. So after the session is completed, the recordings have to be clearly filled for further scrutiny and further reference. So this is the whole process of brainstorming. So brainstorming is nothing but to a large number of people, around 15, 6 to 15 participants will be there. You're going to give a topic. So without any judgment, whether it is practically it can be done or not, no judgment will be allowed. So you're going to, you're going to take all the ideas from the participants. So we have so many process of brainstorming. First you have to define the problem, then you have to decide the how many number of people you want, and then we want a facilitator or the moderator who will look after this job. And we have to appoint one member who will list down all the ideas or who will record all the ideas which has been generated. And then we have to announce the time frame within which it has to be conducted. Then you have to give a brief to the members about being open minded and there will be no judgment. And after the session is completed, you have to carefully scrutinize all the ideas. So after that, the process is explained at a conceptual level and it can make one wonder where do we apply it. So brainstorming is a dynamic and creative process designed to pluck out the thoughts hidden from one's mind. And we have there are various types of brainstorming, okay, forms of brainstorming that have been developed over a period of time. So we have few types of brainstorming here. Number one, free writing. So free writing, it is like write down the first thought that comes in your mind. Okay, it can be used when there is not enough information available to begin with. Okay, so the next one is bullet points. So this begin after free writing. For every idea listed in your free writing, you have to try building more content for each one of them by using the bullet points. And the next one is time travel. Time travel, here you have to imagine you have gone back 50 years or ahead by 50 years and then do the thinking to generate the ideas. Then webbing. So webbing, here write an idea in the center of a sheet of a paper, circle and write something similar to that. Continue the process and soon you will have a page full of ideas. And then we have brain exchange technique. So here this is similar to the first one. Once the first set of thoughts are written, the member in the team exchange the paper and write more ideas based on what the other person has written. So this process works well when the idea generation has to happen at multiple level process. So this session continues until the last process is reached. So these are the various types of brainstorming. We have free writing. Free writing is nothing but, so you have to write down whatever comes in your mind for the first time. Okay. So then bullet points. So after free writing, for each idea you are going to write a content for each of them with the help of bullet points. Then time travel, so you have to imagine like going back or coming ahead for 50 years, 100 years, whatever. Then you have to think based on the time. Then webbing here, you have to write an idea in the center of the sheet and circle and write something similar to that, and you have to continue the process until you get, until you fill the full page. Then the last one, brain exchange technique. So it is like the last one here. One member in the team He will write his thought in a paper, and based on that idea, other person will be writing the another idea. So this process works well when the idea generation has been happened in the multiple level. So the next one, benefits of brainstorming. So it stimulates creative thinking. It stimulates creative thinking, and also it helps in various decision making process, and also it helps in forward planning, and it helps in team building, and also it leads to enhance productivity and efficiency, and also it helps in problem solving, and it helps to create a pleasant working environment. These are the various benefits of brainstorming. Number one, it stimulates creative thinking, it helps in decision making, it helps in forward planning, it helps in team building, it enhances the productivity, and it helps in solving problem, and also it helps to create pleasant working environment. The next one, advantages of brainstorming. So in its creative essence, brainstorming offers the various advantages, like it can be used by people from all walks of life, like students, working professionals, housewife, friends. It can be used by any people. Then in a workplace, it creates uh, a repository of ideas for solving immediate and even for the future problems, and it allows every participant to have equal chance to voice out their thoughts without fear and prejudice. And participating employees experience a creative process, and this can allow them to learn and explore more such options in the future. And the next one, it employees feels acknowledged as their thoughts have been given important in this process. So these are the various benefits and advantages of brainstorming. So the next one is disadvantages of brainstorming. So as the coins, as the two sides, like in the same way, every topic will be having advantages and as well as disadvantages. So we'll discuss about the various disadvantages of brainstorming. And the very first one, many ideas generated may need serious further scrutiny to even to decide which is viable. And ideas may have the cost and financial obstacles. Then although the process of brainstorming was fair bias free, but implementation can be hampered by prejudice and the waste the entire process. And also it can be time consuming, and thus needs the employees to spend time away from their core duties. And also it leads to participants who participate as a formality will not be resourceful. And the cooperation and approval of the top management is very much essential for such activity to be conducted. So these are the various advantages, disadvantages, and the benefits of brainstorming.